Hi everyone. So today we'll be talking about quite a heavy topic. There will be 8 projects that I'll be sharing and the difference between each of the projects in terms of their performance. So the biggest question now a lot of my buyers are asking me is whether or not today should we buy a freehold project or a leasehold project. So let's look at what we'll be going through today. There will be some in-depth analysis of different projects. If you see the first 4 projects that I've mentioned, Minton Urban Residences, Southaven 1 and Springdale, they are in the OCR region, the Heartland region. And the other 4 I'll be talking about is the Leedon Residences, OUE Twin Peaks and Gramercy Park. So why I use these 8 different projects? Because we want to clearly see a very good difference between the outskirt market and the core central region. How does these projects perform based on their freehold versus leasehold status? And of course, last but not least, we want to talk about what are some opportunities today in the market that you can really consider that is at a very attractive pricing. So without further ado, let's go deep into the first 2 projects, which is Minton and Urban Residences. So we see Minton, which is 1,145 unit development. It's a 99-year leasehold and is sitting on a almost 44,000 square meter land. So the key thing that we want to understand from these 2 projects is definitely in the land size. Why? I will explain to you more in detail later. And Urban Residences, we are looking at a 47 units freehold development sitting on a 2,252 square meter land size. So now let's go into the performance of these 2 properties. The first one that we are looking at is Urban Residences. If you can see, there is only 4 profitable transactions in 2 years. And the highest it went up is 159,000, which is close to about 160,000. So now let's look at another example, which is the Minton. If you can see, for the past 1 year, they have already transacted 45 profitable transactions. And the highest of it goes close to around 1.2 million or even above 1.2 million. So what we want to understand from these 2 projects is when it comes to a outskirt market or heartland area project, a lot of buyers are looking for big land size. And why they are looking at big land size is because when there's a bigger land size, their number 1 priority is a lot on facilities and space for their children to run around and all the homestay needs that a particular buyer would want to look at. So now let's look at another example, which is Springdale versus Southaven 1. If you can see Springdale, it's a 480 units on a 999 leasehold, which is almost close to a freehold property and is sitting on a 27,000 land size. But Southaven 1, it's 157 units, 99 lease and 11,000 square meters in terms of the land size. So what we want to see is that whether or not in another location, if we have a bigger freehold property on a bigger land size, does it even perform better? So now let's look at the different prices again of these 2 projects. If we look at Springdale versus Southaven 1, in the past 3 years from 2023 until 2026, we can see clearly Springdale grow 21%, which is much higher than Southaven 1 that is only at 9%, right? So the only question that we want to ask is, why is this happening? Is freehold leasehold really that important? If we really look at it, based on both of these 2 examples, what we want to understand in these 2 different locations is that when a property is in the outskirt market or the heartland area, a lot of buyers are actually very focused on the land size, not so much on whether if it's freehold or leasehold. And later you can see clearly when it goes to a different location, for example a core central region, what are the prices like. So now let's look at another 2 projects in District 10, the Leedon versus Leedon Residence. Okay, so the Leedon, right, is a big development, 1,700 over units. It's a 99-year leasehold sitting on 541 square meter in terms of their land size. But Leedon Residence, it's a freehold, 381 units on almost 50,000 square meter of land size. So in this scenario, a lot of buyers will be asking me, since you have already mentioned just now that bigger land size means better profits, right? In this situation, a lot of people will definitely feel that the Leedon has a better profit going forward. But when we look at the numbers of it, the Leedon actually made 1.34 million in terms of their profit, the highest transacted ever in the development itself. But when we look at Leedon Residences, which is a freehold project, the highest went up to 5.2 million. And this big difference of almost $4 million is really so much different when it comes to the core central area. So why is this so? It's because a lot of people, when they're looking for a property in the higher end markets or in the Lux market, they only look about whether it's freehold and not so much whether it's leasehold or the land size or anything. Their concern is, first thing first, I must have a freehold property. We look at another example, also in the Core Central region, OUE Twin Peaks and Gramercy Park. If we look at OUE Twin Peaks, we have 462 units. It's a 99-year leasehold on a 12,169 square meter land plot. But Gramercy Park, it's on a 15,000 square meter, it's 174 units, but it's a freehold property. So in this situation, we can also clearly see the prices of OUE Twin Peaks. In the past 2 years, there is 35 unprofitable transactions, and it went as much as 1.1 million. To be honest, if you buy a property today and in 2 years' time or when you sell, you lose 1.1 million, I feel that is really a very big loss that you should be very careful of. That's why I say when it comes to a property, we have to be very careful what we are buying, especially what are the demand and supply of the location that people is looking in that particular area. If we look at Gramercy Park, it's very clear, even though it's a smaller land size, you get a very good healthy profit. And you can see the profits over here, they are way above 1.3 million, 1.3, 1.4, 1.6. And why is this happening? It's because in a Lux area, many buyers are only looking purely at freehold property. So end of the day, we have to be very careful. What are the projects that we are buying into? Where are the projects that we are buying into? And what type of audience are we attracting in future when we want to sell? So in summary, I just want to do a quick summary on the 4 projects that I've mentioned: the Leedon Residence, Gramercy Park, and OUE Twin Peaks. You can see a very clear similarity is that all those on a freehold status have very good profits going forward. And those that are leasehold in the high-end district are actually not making a lot of profits over there. So in the district that is Lux market or the high-end markets, we have to know the buyers looking over there are mainly purely looking for freehold property. And in the outskirt markets, a lot of them are looking for big land size. Whether or not it's freehold or leasehold is not the number one importance to them. So now, if let's say for example, until this point, you are unclear whether or not the project they are looking into, it should be a freehold, it should be a leasehold, in which location they are looking, you want to be very careful, you can always drop me a WhatsApp or you can join my Telegram community, because I'll be sharing frequent updates in these 2 places so that you can have a very clear understanding what is your purchase going to be like and how do you even position your funds in a safer way. So now to the most interesting topic is, in today's market, is there an opportunity that you can take advantage of? Because a lot of my clients also ask me this question. Hey, we are doing a lot of analysis, but what can we look at now in today's market? So let me go straight into this project that is still available in the market. This project that I want to mention to you guys is the Continuum. First thing first, we want to really understand, it is a freehold status and is sitting on a fairly big land size in that location. And we have 816 units in total for that development. So now let's look at the location of where Continuum sits. If you can see the surrounding projects at Continuum area, most of the projects there are very small development. And from this map, you can already clearly tell all these are not as big in terms of the land size as compared to the Continuum. And if we really want to dive deep inside, within 1 kilometer of the Continuum, there isn't any freehold project with a bigger land size and is above 800 units. So what this means to you is that if today you were to go into a similar project like that, your competitors will not be as much as other areas. Why? Because in the whole area, if today I'm a buyer and I want to come into a place that I want a freehold project with a big land size, this is the only option I have. In the market, a lot of buyers will definitely make comparison with your project when it comes to buying for own stay. And when today they come to this location and they see that this project is so amazing over there, and they know that they want to stay in such a place with such amenities and facilities, definitely it would be a number one consideration for own stay buyers. So we have to be very clear today when we buy a property and when we want to exit, who is our target audience? Because these are the people that is willing to pay the amount of profits to you for you to exit. So now let's look at some pricing in the location. If we see in District 15 area, in the resale prices, if we can see these 4 projects, Mayor Mansion, Amber Park, One Mayor and Coastline Residences, All of them are TOP within the last 4 years, 2022 all the way to 2024. And you can see their prices. On the average PSF that are being transacted now for a resale property there, the lowest is at 2008 and the highest is at 2009. They have actually even hit above 3001 PSF. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, today when we are buying a property, how do we know whether we are safe? Number one, we look at the surrounding transactions, especially for resale. Number two, we see if that we are much below them. If we are below them, definitely we are much safer because an older project is already transacted higher in terms of the PSF as compared to a newer project. So the next thing we have to also ask ourselves is this very important question. If today, I put it in another scenario for you to consider. If you are buying a resale car, for example, if the resale car and the brand new car, they are at the same price, which one will you consider? I believe a lot of people will definitely go for the brand new car first. If we put this situation in real estate to talk about, it actually performs the same way because most people will definitely want to buy a newer project at a lower price. So now we want to look at another way to see whether if today's prices are safe for us is we compare to something that is further away from what we are at. District 15 is in a RCR area, and now we look at the new launch that is transacted in the OCR area. If we see Pinery that was recently launched and transacted, the highest was 2007 PSF at 3.7 million. And we see another one that was also recently launched, which is Vela Bay. They are already transacted at 3,003, $5.8 million. So today the question is, we have to ask ourselves, the OCR market has already transacted a new high. What if I'm able to find something that is within the RCR area and much lower in terms of the prices or in terms of the PSF? Will that still be a good buy? So now let's look at the balance unit in continuum. If you can see, this is the site map. From just the site map, you already can tell it is a big development and we have many facilities all around the project itself. It also has a link bridge that connects to the two different plots of land from the north and the south of the whole development itself. So in this development, the main thing that we want to look at is the pricing. If we look at the 3-bed all the way to the 5-bed, we can see that the PSF is from 2006 all the way to 2008 PSF. So now when we look back, just now when we mentioned the prices for a resale property in District 15, they are already transacted as high as 3001 PSF. And their average PSF are going at about 2009 PSF. So today, the question we have to ask ourselves is, if we are buying in at this price, am I safe? Why I say that is because today, if you are a resale owner that bought into the 4 developments of the resale in District 15, if you buy something at 2009 to 3001 PSF, how much must they sell? Definitely, they'll be looking at 3003 or even 3005 going forward. But for you, when you buy in at 2006 to 2008, all you need to do is to sell at 3000 or even 3001, which is their purchase price. You can easily have a big profit of 300 to 400 PSF. So the only question that a lot of people are asking me is also, how come this project is about to TOP soon? Because this is going to TOP in 2027. And a lot of my buyers are asking me, why until today still so many of the balance unit are over here in the 3 to 5 bed? So if you see from my previous video, the one I mentioned in Hudson Place, why the bigger bedrooms are all not moving when they are being launched, it's very simple. Because bigger bedroom types, most of the time, who are they being bought by? Most of the time, they are being bought by own stay buyers. And own stay buyers have one very simple criteria. They must sell their place to buy into a bigger unit type. So they most of the time can only wait for it to be ready before they can sell, and they move into their new place straight away. And now as an investor, what is your strategy? You have to be very careful. If today you're buying a 3 to 5 bed for an investment, you must know very clearly when is your timeline to buy and when is your timeline to sell. Why most of the people wait until the end to buy is because of their preference as a buyer to buy for own stay. But if today you're an investor and you want to sell to these buyers when they come in during TOP, you will generally have a very good upside because these people don't want to wait. They want to go in immediately and not waste a lot of extra funds on their rental. That's why you can see in most development like Continuum, or rather like in Grand Diamond or in Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong, most of the big units are all sold during the TOP phase, when it's about to TOP. And this is one thing we have to be really careful, because these are the people that you can target if today you buy in from the start or from an earlier phase, so that you can cross your SSD to sell to them when they are ready to buy. Okay, so in summary, what we want to understand from this whole video is a few simple things. First thing first, we have to understand what are the buyers' behavior between buying in the outskirt market, which is the heartland market, versus the core central region. What I mentioned to you, different buyers have different needs at different areas. And we also can see from the projects that I mentioned to you earlier, those buyers that buy into the heartland area or the OCR area are always looking at big land size for the facilities. And those buyers that are buying into the core central region, like the District 9, District 10, they are looking at one thing that is very important, the freehold status. So we have to be very clear who is our target audience going forward. So to sum it up, freehold or leasehold, is it really important? To me, it is not the most important thing. What is the most important is for you to really understand who are your target sellers or buyers in future, so that you know exactly what unit type to buy in which location. And the most important thing that we always want to talk about is the demand and supply of the location. For example, if today, if you go into a certain location, there isn't many freehold properties and you have an advantage over these people, definitely you will stand a very high chance to exit, because buyers will definitely compare when they are buying a property in a certain location. And when they can see the USP of your project in that location, they definitely will come into it. And of course, last but not least, how do we take advantage of all the opportunities in today's market? There are still many different opportunities that we have to be very careful of and know how to spot different unit types in every single development. To me, every development has its pros and cons. We have to understand what are the bedroom types that we're looking into and whether or not it's freehold or leasehold. All these factors do affect your purchase, and you have to be very clear where and what you are buying, so that you know in future when you want to exit, you are very safe. But the most important thing is still to understand what are the price point that you're looking at in today's market, because every development has a different pricing that we have to be very careful of. Okay, so for today, this will be my content, and if you have any questions until now that you are unclear or you're not sure whether or not your particular project, freehold or leasehold, whether should you be buying it or not, just feel free to WhatsApp me or join my Telegram community, so that you'll be frequently updated with real-time updates of my video and also the latest current news. Thank you.